This is the Saffia Slip Dress, and in this video I will show you step by step how to make this yourself. The pattern for this dress is available on my Etsy shop, which is linked in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. These are the materials you will need to make this: stretchy fabric, matching thread, stretchy lace, matching thread for the lace, brass straps and hooks, needles for stretch materials, a twin needle, and of course your sewing machine and optionally an overlocker. First of all, we will take the strap pieces and sew them right sides together along their long sides. For the sake of efficiency, we will straight away continue to attach the two top pieces right sides together along the side seams. And we also attach both skirt pieces right sides together. We can now use a safety pin to turn our strap pieces right sides out. I would also suggest to top stitch them, which is going to stabilize them and it's going to make it easier to work with them. To create the ruching under the bust, we will use a basting stitch for 2 rows along the round edges of our front piece, for which we will use the highest stitch length on our sewing machine. We want to make sure that the ruching is directly under the peak of the top and that we ruche the top until both front and back pieces are equal in width. To secure our ruching, we just tie a few knots on each of the threads, so 4 times in total. Before we move on to the next steps, we want to make sure that all our fabric is perfectly aligned and that we have no loose threads. We can then move on to the lace. Make sure you check which side of your lace is the right side, usually that's the shinier side. We now want to attach the lace to the bottom of our top. We start by pinning it to the side seam of the top, but we pin the lace half a centimeter before the side seam to create some overlap later. I suggest not pre-cutting the lace and instead taking the whole piece of lace to the sewing machine, because we are working with 2 stretchy items. Whilst we sew, these might stretch out a little and this could result in mismatching lengths. Now we are going to use our twin needle to top stitch the lace onto our top. For this we will need 2 top threads. We want to make sure to sew along the very edge of our main material, as the twin needle leaves 2 rows of straight stitches on the front of our garment and a zigzag on the inside, which will encase all of our raw edges. When we have completed the full round of sewing, we can trim the lace at the sewing machine, cutting it with another half a centimeter overlap. Next, we can remove our basting stitches for a clean finish. Our finished seams should be stretchy and look like this. If your lace is as see-through as mine, I would suggest to carefully trim any excess fabric. To close the lace, we can now trim any excess lace that disturbs the shape of the lace and top stitch the overlap in line with our side seams. For this, I'm using a stitch that is similar to a buttonhole stitch, which is between a zigzag and a straight stitch with 0 centimeter stitch length. This should leave us with this top stitching securing both ends of the lace. We can trim any excess fabric if there is any. Moving on to the top of the back piece. We repeat the same steps again, but we only do the back part of the top. We won't attach any lace to the front just yet. We again trim the lace to length after we've attached it. To complete the front part of the top, we need to again overlap the lace, but this time we are creating this little triangle shape with our overlap as we are attaching the lace at an angle. We pin and sew like before. Next, we can cut the little overlap triangle straight down, making sure there is still some overlapping material. We stitch this down using the same stitch as before, making sure we stitch a straight line down in line with the side seam. We can now cut the lace to size on the other side, leaving half a centimeter of seam allowance. We repeat those steps with the v-neck at the front, however, we won't attach the lace pieces at the peak of the top just yet. Moving on to the straps, we measure 10 cm from our side seam into the back piece and mark it. Using the round brass strap accessory, we feed our small strap piece through this and sew the ends of it together using our buttonhole stitch. We attach the small strap pieces at our 10 cm marking at the back using the buttonhole stitch, and we should also secure the lace at the top of our strap piece, and I even opted for a quick hand stitch at the very top so that the lace won't flap down. To attach the slider, which makes the straps adjustable, we just feed one end of our longer strap piece through and over the middle part of the slider and secure it in place using the same buttonhole stitch. With the inside of the strap facing us, we want to now feed the strap through the strap holder and feed the other end of the strap through the slider again over the existing loop of fabric. The other end of the strap can now be attached to the front of our top, and at the same time we will use our buttonhole stitch to overlap and close the lace pieces. And with that we have finished the top. Moving on to the skirt. We use the same method as before to attach the lace to the bottom of our skirt. We pin and sew it with a twin needle, cutting the lace after it is attached and overlap it and stitch it in place with a buttonhole stitch. Lastly, we need to attach our top to our skirts. For this, we need to make sure that the slightly higher front of the skirt is facing us, and we pin the peak of the skirt to the exact center of the front top. We also pin the side seams together. From here we pin the rest out, making sure it is all aligned. If your lace has a shape like mine does, you should follow this shape with the stitching. I'm using a very small zigzag stitch for this, but you can opt for the twin needle too if it suits your lace pattern. I am just taking my time sewing along these scallops. We can then go ahead and cut the excess fabric so it won't be visible when wearing the dress. However, my lace is very see-through, so this might not be needed for your lace depending on the opacity and shape. And with that, we have finished the Saffia Slip Dress, and here is the final outcome. This is such a cute dress, whether for wearing at home or to bed or even for going out. It is more suited for a good intermediate sewer, but I think this is a project where you can really enhance your skills and the outcome will feel so precious. Like always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and other than that, thank you so much for watching.